One look at this island and you are reminded of a football field. However, this is not a playground but Migingo, a mysterious island steeped in mystery, superstition, and the bizarre. Largely hidden away from the knowledge of many people, this African island tells a tale unlike anything you have ever heard of. Are you ready to uncover the secrets of this place? Stay with us as we bring you some of the most shocking, never-before-known realities of Migingo, the land of strange things. Chapter 1. The Enigma of Migingo Island. Imagine a place so small that it could fit within half of a soccer field, yet it stands as one of the most densely populated areas on Earth. Welcome to Migingo Island, a tiny dot in the vast expanse of Lake Victoria, surrounded by the borders of Kenya and Uganda. This seemingly insignificant piece of land is not only a point of contention between two nations, but also a hub of mystery, folklore, and survival. Despite its minuscule size, Migingo Island is a land where chaos reigns, and the challenges of everyday life are beyond imagination. The island's story is steeped in myths, tales of ghosts, and the presence of an evil spirit that once deterred people from settling there. However, the lure of the abundant fish in the surrounding waters eventually overcame these fears. As fishermen from Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania flocked to the island in the 1990s, Migingo transformed from a forgotten outpost into a bustling center of activity. Today, it is a place where extreme poverty, a lack of infrastructure, and the constant threat of pirates are daily realities. But Migingo is more than just a fishing village. It is a symbol of the struggle for survival in a region plagued by scarcity and environmental degradation. The island's strategic location in the fish-rich waters of Lake Victoria has made it a valuable asset, and its wealth has not gone unnoticed. Both Kenya and Uganda claim sovereignty over Migingo, leading to a complex geopolitical dispute that has no clear resolution in sight. Migingo's story begins long before the international headlines, rooted in the deep waters of Lake Victoria and the histories of the communities that surround it. The island, barely noticeable on a map, was once an unremarkable rock until its rich fishing potential was discovered. Fishermen from Kenya and Uganda first began to take notice of Migingo in the early 2000s, drawn by the abundance of Nile perch in the surrounding waters. However, this tiny piece of land soon became the center of a territorial dispute. Kenya and Uganda, two nations with long-standing cultural and economic ties, both laid claim to the island. The waters around Migingo were teeming with fish, and controlling the island meant access to these valuable resources. The dispute over ownership is not just about the land, but also the economic lifeline it provides to the communities that depend on the fishing industry. As tensions rose, so did the population of Migingo. Fishermen, traders, and security forces flocked to the island, transforming it from a barren rock into a bustling, chaotic settlement. Today, Migingo is a crowded enclave of corrugated metal huts, where life is lived at close quarters and every square inch is precious. The island's origins are a testament to how even the smallest places can hold immense importance in the grander scheme of regional geopolitics. Chapter 2. The Prosperity and Perils of Migingo. Lake Victoria, the largest lake in Africa, is a lifeline for millions of people in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. In the heart of this lake lies Migingo, a rocky island of less than half a hectare. Despite its small size, Migingo's strategic location in fish-rich waters makes it a treasure trove for the region's fishermen. The island's prosperity is driven by the valuable Nile perch, a fish highly sought after on the international market. The discovery of this aquatic gold in the 1990s led to a boom in Migingo's population. Fishermen and traders from surrounding countries flocked to the island, transforming it into a chaotic urban landscape. Makeshift buildings made of wood and metal sprang up, and the island became one of the most densely populated places on Earth, with around 500 inhabitants crammed into less than half a hectare. However, this prosperity came at a cost. The island's wealth attracted not only fishermen, but also pirates. As pirate attacks became more frequent, the residents of Migingo turned to their neighboring countries for protection. In 2004, the Ugandan Coast Guard settled on the island, offering security in exchange for taxes. This move sparked a violent conflict between the locals and the authorities, leading to what has been dubbed Africa's smallest war. The dispute between Kenya and Uganda over Migingo continues to this day, fueled by the island's economic importance. Living on Migingo is not for the faint of heart. The island is home to around 500 inhabitants, crammed into a space that offers little in terms of comfort. The metal shacks that make up the island's housing are packed so tightly together that it's often hard to tell where one home ends and another begins. Despite the challenging conditions, the island pulses with life. Imagine walking through the narrow pathways of Migingo, where the scent of fresh fish mingles with the smoke from charcoal fires. Fishermen haul in their catches, while traders huddle over tables piled high with goods ranging from fresh produce to household items. The island's economy revolves around the fishing industry, with Nile perch being the primary source of income. The fish are caught, cleaned, and packed for export, making their way from this tiny island to markets across East Africa and beyond. But life on Migingo is not just about work. It's a place where people from different backgrounds come together, creating a unique blend of cultures. Kenyan and Ugandan fishermen live side by side, their shared profession fostering a sense of camaraderie even as the national dispute over the island simmers in the background. The island's small bars and eateries provide a space for relaxation, where stories are exchanged and the day's hardships are momentarily forgotten. Yet, the harsh realities of life on Migingo are never far away. The lack of proper sanitation, the constant threat of disease, and the ever-present risk of violence due to the ongoing territorial dispute all contribute to a sense of unease. Despite these challenges, the people of Migingo continue to persevere, finding ways to adapt and thrive in this unusual environment. Chapter 3: The complex social dynamics of Migingo. Living on Migingo Island is a surreal experience. With a population density of around 100,000 people per square kilometer, the island is a maze of metal shacks, narrow corridors, and makeshift structures. There are no streets, squares, or green spaces, just a chaotic jumble of buildings that provide shelter for the island's inhabitants. Despite these challenging living conditions, the residents of Migingo have created a close-knit community. Physical proximity has fostered strong bonds among the islanders, who rely on each other for survival. The island's informal economy, driven by fishing and small businesses, plays a crucial role in sustaining daily life. From small stores and tailor shops to makeshift beauty salons and bars, these businesses offer essential services that would be difficult to obtain elsewhere. However, life on Migingo is not without its peculiarities. The island's electricity is supplied by small generators that often fail to meet demand, forcing residents to rely on candles and lanterns. There are no proper sanitation facilities, and the lack of basic infrastructure poses serious health risks. Public health problems are common, and outbreaks of waterborne diseases are a constant threat. Chapter 4: The Ghostly Legends of Migingo and Usingo. The mysteries of Migingo are not confined to its geopolitical tensions or harsh living conditions. The island is also shrouded in legends and folklore, with tales of an evil spirit that once haunted its shores. According to local lore, this spirit drove away the island's early inhabitants, leaving it abandoned for years. When fishermen eventually returned to the island, they did so with a mixture of courage and caution, aware of the island's eerie past. Interestingly, just 200 meters from Migingo lies another island called Usingo. Larger and less densely populated, Usingo is home to only a few families and scientists conducting research on Lake Victoria's flora and fauna. Despite its larger size and seemingly more favorable living conditions, Usingo remains largely uninhabited. The reason? The same evil spirit that once haunted Migingo is said to have moved to Usingo, driving away potential settlers. This belief has led many to prefer the overcrowded chaos of Migingo to the haunted tranquility of Usingo. The fear of the unknown has kept Usingo's population sparse, while Migingo continues to thrive despite its challenges. The legends of these two islands add an extra layer of mystery to the already complex story of life on Lake Victoria. Chapter 5: The Ongoing Struggle for Migingo. The territorial dispute over Migingo Island is a legacy of colonialism. The borders between Kenya and Uganda were drawn by European powers in the late 19th century, with little regard for the geographical and cultural realities of the local communities. As a result, the question of who truly owns Migingo is complex and unresolved. Both Kenya and Uganda have compelling arguments for claiming sovereignty over the island. Uganda points to the island's geographical proximity, while Kenya relies on historical records. In 2009, the dispute escalated when Uganda sent security forces to Migingo, a move that Kenya interpreted as an invasion. Diplomatic tensions rose, but war was ultimately averted. The two countries reached an informal agreement to share the administration of the island, but this arrangement remains fragile. The dispute over Migingo is more than just a clash over a small piece of land. It's a reflection of the broader geopolitical dynamics in East Africa. The conflict officially came to a head in 2009 when Uganda deployed security forces to the island, asserting their claim over Migingo. This move was met with outrage in Kenya, where the government and media alike decried Uganda's actions as an invasion of Kenyan territory. The situation escalated as both countries increased their military presence in the waters around the island. Kenyan fishermen began to complain of harassment by Ugandan forces, who they claimed were extorting money and impounding their boats. Tensions flared, and there were real fears that the dispute could spiral into a full-blown conflict. At the heart of the dispute is not just the ownership of the island, but also the rights to the lucrative fishing grounds that surround it. The waters around Migingo are some of the richest in Lake Victoria, and control over these resources could have significant economic implications for either country. For the fishermen who depend on these waters, the dispute is about their livelihood. For the governments of Kenya and Uganda, it's about national pride and sovereignty. Despite numerous attempts at negotiation, the issue remains unresolved. Both countries continue to assert their claims over the island, and the people of Migingo remain caught in the middle. The ongoing tension has made life on the island even more precarious, as the threat of violence looms over the daily activities of its inhabitants. The lack of a definitive resolution keeps tensions high, and the island's residents remain caught in a state of limbo. Despite this uncertainty, life on Migingo goes on, driven by the wealth of fishing. The island's fish exports generate millions of dollars, making it an invaluable economic asset for both countries. Chapter 6. The Future of Migingo. The future of Migingo Island is uncertain. Overcrowding, environmental degradation, and the ongoing territorial dispute all pose significant challenges to the island's survival. The island's population continues to grow, exacerbating the already difficult living conditions. The lack of basic infrastructure, such as clean water and sanitation, makes public health crises a constant threat. Moreover, the environmental crisis on Lake Victoria is a growing concern. Overfishing and the degradation of the lake's ecosystem have led to the disappearance of many native species, threatening the sustainability of the island's fishing industry. Climate change is also altering the conditions of the lake, making fishing increasingly unpredictable. Despite these challenges, the residents of Migingo remain resilient. Their community is bound by a strong sense of solidarity and a determination to survive. But as the island continues to grow and resources become scarcer, the question remains: how long can Migingo continue to thrive under such pressure? Chapter 7. Migingo, a reflection of global challenges. Migingo Island is more than just a tiny dot on the map. It is a microcosm of the broader challenges facing our world today. From geopolitical disputes and environmental degradation to the struggle for resources and survival, the story of Migingo reflects many of the issues that define our global landscape. As the world grapples with the impacts of climate change, overpopulation, and resource scarcity, Migingo stands as a reminder of the importance of cooperation, sustainability, and resilience. The island's residents have shown that even in the most challenging circumstances, life finds a way to continue. But their story also serves as a warning of what can happen when borders are poorly defined, resources are mismanaged, and the environment is neglected. In the end, The future of Migingo Island depends not only on the actions of its residents, but also on the willingness of the global community to address the underlying issues that have brought the island to this point. The story of Migingo is still unfolding, and its outcome will have implications far beyond the shores of Lake Victoria. Chapter 8. The future of Migingo, uncertainty and hope. The future of Migingo is uncertain. The ongoing territorial dispute between Kenya and Uganda shows no signs of being resolved, and the island remains a flashpoint in the region. The people of Migingo live in a state of limbo, unsure of what the future holds for their home. There are fears that overfishing and environmental degradation could threaten the island's economy, leading to a decline in the fishing industry that sustains it. The lack of regulation and the intense competition for resources have already had a noticeable impact on fish stocks, and if current trends continue, the future could be bleak. Yet, there is also hope. The resilience and adaptability of the people of Migingo are a source of inspiration. They have managed to build a thriving community in one of the most challenging environments imaginable, and they continue to find ways to overcome the obstacles they face. There are those who believe that with the right support, Migingo could become a model for sustainable living in the region, a place where people and the environment coexist in harmony. The future of Migingo will ultimately depend on the actions of both the local community and the governments of Kenya and Uganda. If a resolution can be reached and if sustainable practices can be implemented, there is hope that this tiny island will continue to thrive. But for now, the people of Migingo continue to live with uncertainty, navigating the challenges of life on the rock as they have always done, with strength, determination, and a deep connection to the waters that surround them. Conclusion. Migingo, a microcosm of East Africa. Migingo Island, despite its small size, is a microcosm of the challenges and complexities of East Africa. It's a place where national borders blur, where cultures blend, and where the struggle for survival plays out against a backdrop of geopolitical tension. The story of Migingo is not just about a disputed island, it's about the resilience of the human spirit and the ways in which people find hope and meaning, even in the most difficult circumstances. As we look to the future, the fate of Migingo remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the people who call this tiny island home will continue to persevere, finding ways to thrive in the face of adversity. Migingo may be small, but its story is one that resonates far beyond the shores of Lake Victoria, offering valuable lessons about survival, community, and the complexities of life in East Africa. Outro, a tiny island with a big story. Migingo Island may be small, but its story is anything but insignificant. It is a place where myths and reality intertwine, where survival is a daily struggle, and where the forces of nature, politics, and human determination collide. Whether it's the haunting legends, the geopolitical tensions, or the sheer willpower of its inhabitants, Migingo offers a glimpse into a world that is as fascinating as it is challenging. Have you ever imagined that a place like Migingo exists on Earth? What do you think about the state of life for the inhabitants of this puny island? Let us know in the comments section. Would you face life on Migingo? What do you think are the most compelling aspects of this tiny island, and what challenges would you find the hardest to overcome? Again, share your thoughts, and let's continue the conversation about this remarkable place. Remember also to subscribe so you never have to miss any of our videos. See you soon.